persistence.
Persistent.
You have to be persistent.
Want success? Model the best. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you as well. You've got Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today, let's learn one of the most common rules that successful people follow: be persistent.
I never thought we could survive for 18 years. And then we made it. The only thing that today we should do is share the experience and know-how, especially share the mistakes, suffers with others. My thinking is that, you guys remember, if you want to be successful, learn from the other people's mistakes. Don't learn from the successful stories. Successful stories they make, don't listen to that. There are a lot of reasons behind it. Just like, I remember the first time Harvard Business School came to us, say, Jack, we want to write a case study for you. That's years 2001 or 2000. They came, they spent 1 week and they write a report and I read, I said, this is not me. And they said, this is you. I said, no, this is not us. He said, this is you. So they make up his sign. And the case study go up and they start to teach in a lot of universities. The next 5 years, they invited me to go to the case study, and they always find a competitor of my company. And after every case study, Alibaba will die, that company will succeed. All the students agree. And actually, every 5 years, all the competitors die, we still survive. So how can you study this kind of a successful story? Learn from the mistakes, the other people. No matter how smart you are, you will encounter these mistakes. You learn from mistakes not because you will be able to avoid mistakes. You will able to, when these mistakes come, this suffer comes, you know how to deal with it, how to face it. The book I want to write, if I can, is Alibaba 1001 Mistakes.
My first time going through Buds, I got the Hell Week, stress fractures, double pneumonia. I got rolled back day 1, week 1. Second time going through Buds, I actually fractured my patella before I got in Hell Week. Made it through Hell Week with a fractured patella, went 2 weeks after Hell Week, and then, because why? I didn't want to get rolled back to day 1, week 1. Yeah. But I couldn't keep up with the class, got rolled back to day 1, week 1, after Hell Week. And then I went through my third time and I graduated that class. We had a guy die in that third Hell Week, class 235. So that's kind of how it happened.
I called Neiman Marcus around the corner of my apartment in Atlanta and I said, hi, this is Sarah. I've got a product I want to come show you. And the lady kind of laughed and said, well, we have a buying office and that's in Dallas. I said, oh, okay. So I hung up and I called the buyer. And from my cold calling days, I knew I'm not going to leave a message. I'm going to keep calling until this woman answers the phone. So the second she answered the phone, I took a very deep breath. I was so scared. And I said, hi, this is Sarah Blakely. And I've invented something that's going to completely change the way all of your customers wear clothes. And I'll fly to see you if you'll give me 5 minutes. And she just kind of took a pause. And she goes, well, where do you live? I said, Atlanta. She goes, all right, if you're willing to fly here, I'll give you 10 to 15 minutes. So I jumped on a plane and I went to the Neiman Marcus headquarters. Before I went, I was, my few friends, I had my lucky red backpack. They stopped me in my tracks. I had my closest friends, they go, Sarah, please, they were pleading with me. Please don't bring that red backpack to the Neiman Marcus headquarters. I mean, this was my old backpack from college. It was dirty and, They said, do anything. You can't bring that red backpack. I mean, if you need to, go buy a Prada bag, return it the next day. I mean, whatever you need to do. But don't bring that red backpack. Well, I took a very deep breath. I said, you know what, this is my good luck charm. I got to bring it. So there off I went with the Ziploc bag in the backpack, the color copy of the packaging. I went to the Neiman Marcus headquarters. I'm sitting in front of this buyer that was the most impeccably dressed woman I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, even her pen matched her outfit. I was just... And I was shaking. I had my red backpack on the floor, and I started going into my spiel, and I knew I wasn't really making a ton of sense, and so halfway through it, I go, you know what? You just have to come with me to the bathroom. She's like, excuse me? I go, I know, it's a little weird, but just please come with me to the bathroom. I'm gonna do my own before and after for you, and then you'll get it. So we walk down the hallway, in total silence. I'm like, I can't believe this. I go into the stall, I have on the white pants that caused me to invent it. I come out with the Spanx on. I turn around, I'd just shown her what it looked like without the Spanx on, and she took a step back and she goes, I get it. And then she goes, it's brilliant. And then she said, I'm gonna give you a shot. I'm gonna put you in 7 stores.
I think a myth in the business is that we all have everything to choose from, is that we don't. I know I'm not like top of everybody's list. No, but that's not it. It's just you have to earn that place. Like Matt Damon always used to say, every script that he got, he knew it had Brad Pitt's fingertips all over it. And mine just happened to be Michael Fassbender's. That's okay. No, listen, he's an amazing actor. Really, truly gifted. That was kind of a joke. It's every actor is completely different, but sometimes you might read something and think, I have read things and gone, wow, this is amazing, and I've chased it down and knocked on the door, and people have said, actually, it's not you, Tom, or we're thinking of someone different. And then my job is to keep knocking on the door and say, well, you've got it, let me see if I can change your mind.
Also, if you want to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
There's a problem with young people. You're not good at anything. Oh, I'm so good. No, tell me the truth. You're not good at anything.
You can outwork anybody.
Mm-hmm.
When I was selling copiers door to door, I had a very clear vision of what my life was going to be like.
Never give up is the best and the worst advice you can ever give an entrepreneur. The trick is knowing how to use it. If you love what you're doing, if you can't imagine life without this thing that you're creating, even if it's not working out yet, you're not getting the results yet, it's not where you want it to be yet, but you need to know. It's this thing inside you that has to come out. You need to know if it's gonna work or not. You could deal with the failure, but you can't deal with not knowing. If that's where you're at with your idea, with your business, then you have to keep going. Then you can't quit. Then you have to find out, because otherwise it's gonna eat you up for the rest of your life. If that's where you're at, then you must find a way to keep going, even if it doesn't make any sense, even if you have to take on part-time jobs, even if you fail in front of everybody. You have to keep going, because the regret at age 90, looking back on your life, the regret will be enormous. That's how most people live. Most people spend their entire life regretting the things that they didn't do. Go look at a retirement home, go talk to your grandparents or great-grandparents, and a lot of them will be filled with regret. I wish I did this. I wish I took my shot. I wish I had the courage. I wish I had the bravery to keep going. If that's what you're worried about, then you must not give up and find a way to keep going. That's when it's good advice. Here's where it's bad advice. I think people stay in things for too long as well. I think people stay in their business for too long. I think people stay in their relationships for too long. People stay with things because it's comfortable, because they know it, because they recognize it, because it's safe, because it's helping generate some money. They stay in the wrong thing for too long. If you are in the wrong thing, then quit immediately. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I come across who've had some level of success. Maybe they're not crushing it, but they've had some level of success. And then they start to hate their business. They start to get bored of their business because they never evolved, because they grew as a human being, but their business didn't grow alongside it. And you keep getting stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again, day in and day out, and you start to hate your business. and you feel like you have to stay in this company because you should never give up on it. No, quit. Get out of that thing. Either change, either adjust what you're going to be doing, like come up with a new product, come up with a new service, make some tweaks, or if it's just so far away from what you're interested in now, then quit. Try to sell the business if there's a way out, and if not, just abandon ship and go do something else, because this is the most important part right here, this part right now. You will never win doing work that you hate. You will never win, you will never have success, you will never get the goals that you want doing work that you hate, because the people who love doing that work will always crush you. You can have the most talent, the most skills, the most resources in the world, but if you do not love the work, if you do not love the process, you will get crushed, you will get demolished by the people who love it, and you will never be happy. You will always be a junior version of somebody else. And so you have to find the thing that you are so dead in love with. It's why finding your passion, doing the thing that you love, is consistently the number one most important rule that comes up over and over and over and over again in these videos. Not because I'm sharing it, because all these people who've had success are sharing it. And so you will never win doing work that you hate. If you are loving the work that you're doing, if you have to find out if this is going to work or not, then you can never quit. Then you can never give up. Then you have to see it through, at least to know. You could deal with the failure, but you cannot deal with not knowing. But if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't love the thing anymore, then quit immediately. Move on, adjust, find something else, and know that there's something great for you out there. And that's why never quit is the best and the worst advice that you can ever give an entrepreneur.
It's interesting because I tell you about, I'd been cooking for quite some time. When I say quite some time, I went to move to Paris in 1983, so I've been cooking now for almost a decade. I'd committed myself since 1977 to make this my career, so I've been focused on working in and I've chosen French cuisine and haute cuisine as my métier, so I was focused on that. The best restaurants were the restaurants that you were aware of, right? If you picked up a Michelin guide, if you picked up the New York Times, even New York Magazine, or any magazine that was either a travel or food magazine, and or had a food section in the newspaper, at that time was always talking about the great restaurants in France and the great chefs. So where else would you aspire to go if it wasn't the best? I mean, if you're going to go to France, which was arguably the best country, had the best food, the best products, the best chefs, the best restaurants, that's what you wanted to do. And so I set my sights high. It took me quite a while to get there. It was about 3.5 years of trying to find somebody in France that was actually going to commit to giving me a job before I actually left America. You know, many times the advice was, "Oh, just go. You'll find a job. Just go over there. Somebody will hire you." I wanted to make sure that I had somewhere to go to. I wasn't convinced that I was just going to travel to France and knock on somebody's door. But in reality, that's actually what happened. Where I ended up having the commitment from was a 1-star Michelin restaurant in Arbois, which is in the Jura, which is in eastern France, just below Alsace. A place I'd never heard about before, a restaurant I'd never heard about, but someone suggested I write them, and I did. And I arrived at the front door, and a large matronly woman, met me, and she was very harsh, and she took me up to my room, which was this small cubicle with a window, but the window was covered with dust, which I thought was dust. And that was my room. It was poorly lit. And I had to arrive at work the next morning in the kitchen downstairs at 5:30, and they would show me what to do. And the kitchen downstairs at 5:30, my first job was to shovel coal into the ovens. And I realized that my window wasn't covered with dust. Well, it was covered with dust, but it was covered with soot, with coal dust. And the kitchen that I was in was nothing like any kitchens that I'd been in America. And I realized that that's not why I came to France. And 3 days later, I packed my bag early in the morning. I snuck out the door, caught the train, and went to Paris, and ended up staying at a friend's apartment for almost 2 years, and literally knocking on people's doors for a job. And fortunately, my persistence paid off, and I had stages. Each different stage is an observation, permission to have an observation in a restaurant. I was a stagiaire, and I was doing a stage, which is, you go into somebody's, it's almost like it's an apprenticeship, if you will. It's an externship, if you will. It's going into someone else's kitchen and actually becoming part of that kitchen. And it's up to that organization or that chef to define what you'll do. So, I did different things in different kitchens because each chef needed a stagiaire in a different way. It was a normal thing, and it still is today. That period of my life, that period of my career in France, was so important to who I am today, and really helped me understand a lot of things about running a restaurant that have supported my career and my success.
Do you have any advice for people out there, young kids who look up to a person in a position that you are, and like how hard you work? Like, please, do you have any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I think it's a case of just hanging on because, it's, what's her name?
Stella?
I think it's just a case of holding on because at that time when I got Stranger Things, I didn't have time to get any other job. I went for commercials and nothing wrong with commercials, but I went and I was like, oh, I really want to get this, and then, I did it. So I felt like I was just losing it, but you're not losing it, you're just not right. You're not the right height, you've got long hair, and you should have short hair. It's easy doing things like taking your hair off, but you've got to be right and feeling right in that role. So really just never give up, because I didn't and I got Stranger Things.
When I do something, I don't really think of I always look at the glass half full. I try to have a positive attitude. I try to see through the mud and say, this could be a really great thing because I'm going to do it different, or I'm going to make this, work, or I'm very stubborn, for one, and I don't like to let things go. So if I start doing something and it's not going well, I think I'm so persistent that I will do it until I feel like it's good or right.
When you're young and you're a kid, you have so many. I grew up in the hood, man. I'm Flint, Michigan, where I'm from. And they say, Terry Crews, you can do anything you want to do. You can do anything you want to do. And then as soon as you go to class, you tell them what you want to do, and they're like, man, what make you think you're going to do something like that, man? You crazy?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, wait, which one is it? Now, can I do it or can I do it? What?
Right.
And so I started to call people on that. I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to just try something that I'd never done before. I want to design furniture. I want to be a part of this thing. So I'm going. And you know what happened? The stuff worked. People started doing it. It started happening. We took this furniture to Milan. We went in front of all the best people in the whole world, and it got accepted, and people were saying how great it was and how beautiful it was. And I said, man, don't never let anybody talk you out of something like that again.
Never, man.
Never! I'm a dreamer.
If you're down right now, if you're not where you want to be right now, if you're not successful right now, don't worry. Because the signs of success are not obvious. What often looks like a failure on the surface is just a stepping stone towards success. So wherever you are in your journey, you need to realize your adversity is your greatest advantage. Your pain is your greatest tool. Because happiness does not change you, pain does. Comfort does not move you, adversity does. Realize that your toughest times will turn you into the toughest person. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. Don't hide your pain. Don't run away from your struggles. Use it. Turn your pain into fuel. Turn your failures into motivation. And never, ever give up.
Now I have a special bonus clip from John Legend on how to be persistent that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What is the main goal that you need to be more persistent on? Number 2, what is one micro step you're gonna take today to move closer to that goal? And number 3, who can hold you accountable to make sure you stay persistent? Also, if you promise to take action after watching this video, give me a #believe down in the comments below. Don't just watch another video, promise to take some action after watching it. Let's see it.
A lot of people want to be stars, so the labels are in a position where they have to and should say no to most people that come into their door, and they need to be really sure about you before they sign you. So they said no to me a lot. They said no to me. Even the label I'm signed to, Columbia, Sony, turned me down, you know, like a year or so before I got signed. So it just shows you that you have to be persistent. You have to keep trying to get better, learn from your criticisms, and then just play to win. And that's what I was doing.
If you want to know the secrets to focusing on your customers, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Delight the customer.
Spending time on your customers.
Focus on the customer.